Finally, the day that my car gets on new suspension. I feel like it shouldn't have taken me this long, but it did take me this long. Creating content's expensive. Coilovers is not that expensive, but yeah. Anyways, took me longer than I expected. I expected to get this done by the end of the year. I expected to get this done by the beginning of the year, like closer to January. But we're in September now, but at least we're getting it done this year. Huge shout out to Silvers. They hooked your boy up with a pretty good deal on these and got them here quick. That was super cool. I believe they got here probably 2 weeks after I ordered. It probably took like 3 days to process and ship, and then got to my door a week after it got shipped. So that's pretty quick. In my opinion, I've heard of people waiting like 2 or 3 months. But yeah, anyways, enough of me talking. Let me show you guys these. Alright, so look at the difference. Yeah, there's like a huge difference that you could tell. Come on, get closer. Oh. Yeah, my cameraman is still a first day. So those are the old ones. Much thicker, much girthier paws. So yeah, look at that. Quality. I don't know what else to say, but yeah. Out with the old, in with the new. I'm a little bit confused on how this thing works. Like, where is this supposed to sit? I was expecting something like this, you know, where it's got two collars and then it's kind of got like a little thing that, you know, your spring would sit on. But I guess I'm the slightest bit confused, but it's a good thing that I wasn't planning on running this thing anyways. I'm gonna go just straight spring in there. Yeah, this is just how I'm gonna stick it in the bucket. I'm gonna put the spring and then put one of these things in there and just have it like that. Really, I think it'll be good. Or we'll run it like this. This thing comes with it. We'll have that in there, and then this probably goes into here, and that looks pretty snug. Grab your torque wrench and torque it down to 17 foot-pounds. Alright, so I'm gonna put this little rubber thing inside of the bucket. Then I'm gonna put this, and then we're gonna stick this thing, I believe, in here. I don't know how that goes, but I think it's like this. And then I'm just gonna jack this up, and they say the rule of like preloading this is you wanna compress your spring about 10 centimeters. Let me get a tape measure. So I think my spring is about 6 inches. What would be 10 centimeters? Centimeters? 10 centimeters seems like a lot.
Centimeters?
No fucking way this is right. 10 centimeters would be 4 inches. Alright, so now that we're back and we learned how to use a ruler,
tape measure?
Yeah, tape measure. 1 centimeter, it's gotta move 1 centimeter. So right now it is, shit. Damn, bro. It's hard to get this thing in there. God. It's here at 15. So it's gotta go down to 14. So it's gotta be almost half an inch. A little less than half an inch. That's gotta get compressed. Okay. Let me measure this jaw. So that's about to where, could go a tiny little bit more. Alright, that's good. It's a little bit over 5.5. 5.5. We were about here at 6, a little past 5, and then now we're a little bit over 4. So that's 10 millimeters, which equals 1 centimeter. And then now you adjust your shock in height to get it back installed. They should show up with your collar, with your locking collar loosened, but if not, just loosen that. And then you'll twist down here to try to match up with this bolt opening. Pins. Yep. And I'm gonna hand tighten this first so that I'm not forcing it in any. Now we're gonna torque this down. Alright, so 57 foot-pounds is that bottom bolt right here for this rear strut until we hear that click. Alright, that was it. Same thing for the other side. Make sure that you lock this locking collar down with the spanner wrenches that they sent you. There's no way this is gonna twist without this coming apart, but it's just good for safety, I guess, because it could. I don't see how it would spin, but I don't see how that thing would spin, but it's good for the peace of mind. So both sides are in. I think I preloaded it correctly. If you guys see this video and say, like, you know, just let me know. I watched the video on this, what the guy said, and I did it to my best ability, so I think I did it right. Feel pretty confident, but I'm super hyped on the way these coilovers look. Like, they look so much better than what I had before. Makes me feel like I've got quality parts on my car now. Look at the type of buffoonery, or whatever you want to call this, that my previous owner would do. Look at this. That's 2 nuts on top of each other. Okay, so when you guys get to the front part, there's this bracket here on the coilovers, and you'll have 3 things connected to it, 3 of these lines. One of them being a brake line. You just slide all those off your bracket, and then you can start undoing your bolts. You've got 3 up here on your top mount, 2 back here. They're kind of hidden. That right there, that's your sway bar, and it should connect onto your suspension, but mine just doesn't have that connection. I think my previous owner installed these coilovers and just didn't ever connect the sway bar back. I guess I'm gonna have to buy those in the future, but we don't have those today, so we're just gonna ignore it for now. Okay, so those 3 bolts are 18s. They're kind of hidden back here. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna even be able to get them. An impact would be a lot better. Third one. Okay, so there's like a 3rd bolt in there. That 3rd bolt has a nut, and the nut is what I've removed, but the bolt actually itself won't come out. So what we're gonna do is try to back the nut all the way out and then try to hammer it. So that's it right there. It's pretty crunched. Okay, so you wanna be careful with some of these cables, because a lot of these cables are really old. And there you go. You got your old coilover out. So this is where that bolt was. It was in this way, and there will be a nut holding it. I loosened it, backed it all the way out, got it started again just a little bit like this, and then went in and tapped it just like this with the hammer till it fully popped out. Alright, so before you ask, I'm wearing sunglasses, not only because they're so fly, and one of my best friends gave it to me because the sun is beaming down straight on my face, but that's not the point of why I'm speaking to you right now. Okay, so at this point in the video, I took out my coilover that was already in there, and I took it out and compared side by side with the new one, trying to get that height just about the same. But what I didn't think about is my new coilovers are a little bit of a higher spring rate, so they're not going to compress as easy as my old ones. If you get the super low kit, they'll come preloaded. The standard kit will come with 0 preload, so they want you to preload it yourself. And yeah, you're going to preload both sides just by compressing that spring. You measure it out before it's compressed, and then after you compress it, measure it, make sure it's about 3 to 5 centimeters or millimeters. Then you want to throw those bad boys in there. Alright y'all, that was pretty tough. Not gonna lie to you, it's a lot easier to take them off. But we got everything in there. This right here was probably the hardest bolt to do. This one right here, I kind of had to like hammer it to get it like completely flush up here. And then once you're like tightening down the nut that goes on the other side, it'll kind of pull itself in, and it'll tighten the rest of the way up. And then the bottom two, I wonder if you can see that. My original plan was to run 3 washers before the hub, or before, yeah, the knuckle or whatever. Yeah, the hub. But I couldn't get the other washer that sits on this side out of the stock bolts. So I had to run 1 on this side and then 2 in here. But that's all right, because that's gonna give us a little bit of extra camber, and we'll be able to get a taste of how much camber we can get out of those little washers. And if anything, in the future, you know, I can put more. Forgot to mention that all of these bolts at the bottom, those are just like the rear. I believe they're 74 foot-pounds. Just go back to where I said it whenever I was doing the rear, but it's the same torque spec for the rear, and then it is 17 for the 3 ones in your shock, in your strut tower up top in your engine bay. Forgot to mention that. Make sure you torque all your shit. There we go. I spoke way too soon and started saying that this side was easier than the other side. Lining up the 2 bottom bolts, I had to lay on the floor for a second because my back was hurting so much just from like trying over and over and over. But I finally got it done. I thought I was gonna get it done by like 10 p.m. It's 11 p.m. now, ready to throw these wheels back on. See, I'm hoping that camber looks pretty cool, but if not, oh well, we're gonna extend these arms or do something about an angle kit pretty soon, in a couple months or something. But yeah, got them in there. Alright, so we got a lot of adjusting to do. As you can tell by the front, it's sitting like an absolute monster truck right now. But I feel like I need to drive it for a little bit and see if anything's gonna break in or compress or settle, and then go from there. Obviously, I'm gonna do a little bit of adjusting, and that will be in a separate video. Yeah, the rear is also a little bit weird. One side of the rear is fitting pretty good, and then one side of the rear is not fitting as good. But yeah, I don't know if it's just because it's gotta settle or if I got something broken back there. It can't be suspension because this is all brand new. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Packing this up.
You know, I'm on go. You know, I'm on, too cold. My merch getting sold.